Welcome to this do-it-yourself soil sampling instructional video. The Healthy Estuaries WA program assists you to use soil sampling to predict which nutrients you need and how much. You will find the Fertiliser Australia Fit for Purpose Soil Sampling Guide a useful resource, and we will supply a summary infographic together with your sampling tools. This guide is an essential resource to help you plan and conduct soil sampling. You will need some resources to help you plan your soil sampling task: a map of your paddocks, knowledge of your paddock hazards, and knowledge of soil types. We will supply you with your farm map that identifies the paddock boundaries and paddock names as well as the sampling ID. When considering the soil type in your paddock, we recommend you plan your transect to capture the dominant soil type. You may find this difficult in some circumstances, and therefore just remember, the aim is to take 30 evenly spaced cores to obtain a representative sample of your whole paddock. The purpose of this instructional video is to help you with your do-it-yourself soil sampling for the Healthy Estuaries Western Australia soil sampling program. The equipment that you'll use for doing this soil sampling will be a cordless drill. We would recommend at least 18 volts because it does require a fair bit of power. You'll also use this soil sampler, which would have been pre-calibrated and set up in a previous instructional video. You'll need a sampling bag, a plastic bag that's provided for you, that's labelled to the paddock of the one that you're doing, and the corresponding jar, which is used as a reference sample by the laboratory, and that will get placed in the bag. You'll need a device or a phone with an app that will help with recording the soil samples, the 30 sample cores that you take in the paddock. We will also provide you with a pogo. You might be familiar with one of these. It is a suitable device for softer soils, and we will demonstrate this in the field. You'll also need a farm map, and the purpose of this is so that you can plan your transect. That's the path that you will follow to collect your soil samples, as well as record on this map where you've been for future reference. Hazards that we might come across are things like gates and water troughs. And if we focus on the particular paddock that we will be sampling today, Grass Tree, there is a gate in this corner with a water trough. So we will want to start in an offset transect away from this area. Other hazards to look out for are rocks, stock camps, and we know that stock camp in this particular part of the paddock, old fertiliser dumps, and headlands. It is important that you spread out your 30 evenly spaced cores to obtain a representative sample of your whole paddock. When you get a chance, it's also an important thing to check the depth of your cores. So to do that, we drill a hole, and remembering we want it to be 10 centimetres, we have a marker pen that we use, and it's a really suitable measure. So from the base of the lid for the chemi pen, that works really good. We've now come to the middle of the paddock, so you should have 15 cores in your transect, and I just want to demonstrate to you what that looks like. Sometimes you will block the sampler with long grass. To unblock the sampler, put the drill in reverse to expose the drill and you should be able to remove the grass with your hands. If you find that your battery powered soil sampler is getting blocked up, an alternative soil sampling method is this Pogo, and it is the preferred sampler if you have long grass or recently irrigated pastures. We've now come to the end of our soil sampling of this paddock. We've taken our 30 cores and we've collected our soil and placed it in this bucket. You should have this amount of soil, and we will now put it in the bag and demonstrate what that looks like. What you will need is your sampling bag, labelled, also with your corresponding reference jar. What we do is first we place the soil in the bag. It's very important that you mix the sample. The easiest way to do that, hold the top of the bag, mix the soil around. I now place the reference jar in the bag. And roll it up. You should have roughly that amount of soil. Lucky band to secure your sample for storage. Now that we've collected our 30 samples and placed them in our bag, it's a good opportunity to cross-reference our labels with our sample map. So in your case, you will have a reference number labelled on your bag. Make sure that reference number corresponds with the same paddock that you've just sampled. It's also important that we record the transect of the 30 cores that we've just taken.